Um, I was reflecting the other day. I was watching a talk which I've seen before, and it was Ratnaguna, one of the Tri Ratna Order members, reflecting and recollecting Bhante Sangharashita, the teacher or the founder of the movement. And it was a talk that he gave quite shortly after his death, kind of recollecting him after dying. And in there he was describing Bhante as an immensely kind person in relation to how he would be relating to Ratnaguna. So he was, the main quality that came out about that person was kindness. And I was reflecting, like what would I like that people remembered? What quality would I like people to remember me by? or what is really that matters to me, that I want to embody in this life? And actually, for me, I'd love if people would describe me as a kind person. And I think at the moment, if somebody said, Pranyanita, I think that would use very different adjectives to describe me. I know what words would come up in descriptions, and there would be lovely qualities. But actually, the quality that I would like to cultivate within myself, and the kind of that I would like to come up and shine out of me, would be kindness. And so, yeah, let's go into a reflection. And when we're reflecting, because we were talking a little bit about karma, planting seeds in the morning sessions. So maybe we can reflect, sit a little bit before we go into groups. And I'll ask us a question to reflect on. So, yeah, if you'd like to find a position to sit, and we'll sit for about 10 minutes, or just under 10 minutes. If you feel comfortable, and just really drop the weight of your body. If you're sitting, really feeling the gravity of your body on the seat, feeling the ground beneath you supporting you. I always find it really useful to just breathe out, let go. Yeah, just calming and relaxing the bodily formations. Maybe in this state of relaxing and letting go, just drop the question of what quality, what seed would you want to be planting this year? What quality really matters to you, that your heart is yearning for, to manifest in you? So hopefully something sprang up from the deep inside you. And we'll have an opportunity to be in groups for half an hour. So you're welcome in the groups, maybe to share how you're getting on the retreat, what's alive for you at the moment, maybe what came up in terms of what seeds you want to be planting, or anything that came up from any of the talks we've had so far, really, because we've been pondering the 4 reminders. So far we've looked at the 3 of them: the preciousness of human life, the impermanence with death, and karma and actions having consequences. So anything that comes up, it's an opportunity for you to share in a smaller group. And Bodhilila in a moment will invite us to join the groups, and then will let us know 5 minutes before, give us a 5-minute warning before we come back. And we'll meet back in the main shrine room in about half an hour. And obviously, when it's being recorded, if you don't want to be part of the recording, then just camouflage yourself and write in the chat, and Bodhidila will pick that up and ask on your behalf if you want to.
So if you don't want everybody reading it, you send it privately to me, but if you don't mind everyone reading it, you can just do it to everyone you're posting in the chat. So anything that has touched you or intrigued you, or you've noticed or experienced, do you want to share in a big group? Questions?
Hello, Bodhilila. Hello, Purnanita. It's Kalpana here. And first of all, I just wanted to thank Prananita for a wonderful talk she has given this morning and the teaching. So it was very lovely to hear all these things. And I was just thinking about today's karma thing. And I was talking in my group also about the karma. Because the country I come from, we have lots of talk about karma. The karma word comes from India, so yeah. And since childhood, I was listening to this word about karma and its consequences, action, and this and that, and so yeah, but everything was for me was not clear because I was taking everything in my head, not in my heart. So what? But through Buddhism and through my practice, through meditation and the practice, when heart opens and I saw the true meaning of karma, and I realized that it affected me so deeply that my action has a consequence. It not just affects me, but affects everyone, people surrounded I have, and affects through them. It affects the world. So first time I realized through that open heart that it's so important what I do, what I say, what are my intention, because it affects me and whole world. So it is very important to see that for me at least to practice that mindfully, and it is body, speech, and mind. So yeah, we act through those things. So it is very important that to see that it affects and create and seeing things, through speech creates so much pain and misery, and around the world we are seeing this. So it was deeply I affected, and it was really I pay attention to that and I know that it's not very easy because those deep rooted habits I have in my it comes time to time and I do things unskillfully. I just give this little example that for some time I was having really a problem with a very close relative, and I was trying to put things right, like I'm not very loud person and very calm in myself and all this. So yeah, and I have got practice, and yeah, so I was just trying to page thing up, but my message was not going. I was making more problems and problems, but I was not seeing what is happening. But one day I was in my meditation and something happened. You always have, when you have deep meditation, those little glimpses. They taught us very much, and I had that little glimpse, and I saw what was the problem. I saw problem was not that person, problem was me. And I was not seeing that because I was fixing things, and you can't fix things. And I realized that, oh my God, it was so painful to see that. Oh, immediate I thought to myself, and I talked to that person again, family member, and folded, and I said, I'm so sorry. It's me, not you. It's my problem that I'm trying to fix your life or try to fix things. It's not like that. And for so many years, that problem was, and I was open heartedly, I say sorry, and I felt so remorse for that I was doing this. And for my amazement, next day I got an email, and it was so wonderful that, yeah, oh yeah, first time that person said, yeah, you are right. I said, why? And I was amazed. This is the thing about when we try to fix things, we think problem is outside, but problem is inside. And when you see that problem, it goes away, because your heart opens. You see those things and you see the qualities that person has. Before I was seeing that just this negative side of that person. So it's very, very, for me, it's very important to my practice that I have to be very honest in my practice and see. And yeah, it takes a lot of courage and metta to myself, then I do something. Otherwise, if I don't have metta and courage, I won't be changing myself.
Thanks.
So yeah, yeah.
Kalpana, for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think a lot of us could identify or resonate with that. Become aware of a pattern or behavior that we've had for years and years, and then sort of seeing through it, and then how painful that is. And I think that tendency to try and fix things for other people, I'm sure everybody here has done that at some time, may still be doing that. And I think, yes, it's really good to have that insight that you're sharing, that you've had. So thank you for that. There's a question that's been sent anonymously. What is the difference between the first and second reminders? They feel one and the same, as if completing the same idea. So anyone from the team want to go for that one? Pranita, Ratnadeva?
I can get us started.
Okay.
I think what I was saying this morning is that actually the reminders, they're so interconnected, and particularly the first two, the preciousness of human life and the reflecting on impermanence and death, are very they're like a pair that goes together, and you could enter that particular reflection from different points. But I think the first one is a lot about conditions. When we are having a human life, it's really looking at conditions that we have. So it's looking at what is in place that led us do things in the way that we might be able to do them in a positive way and have a positive kind of place in the world. So the preciousness of human birth, Ratnadeva was really talking about those endowments, all the freedoms that we have, the fact that we're able to meet here and talk and share in this particular way, and that we've got the teachings that we can discuss. So that's the conditions, and maybe the reflecting on the death and impermanence is looking more at how everything just keeps changing and is not fixed. So it's looking at how things are not really fixed. So even whatever conditions we've got in place, like the preciousness of human life, it's fleeting. It could be gone next day. I'm always with my partner. He loves cycling, and he goes on a cycle, and every time he goes out of the house, I'm just thinking, like, that could be the last time I see him. And if you bear that in mind, in some ways you're bearing in mind preciousness of human life. You're bearing in mind that things can change very fast. It doesn't take much for that. And that makes you act in a particular way. Yeah. Ratnadeva, do you want to
Yeah, I do think the Tibetans are very astute, they have been very astute in setting up the reminders. Yes, you can approach them in a different order, but I think, you know, impermanence can be a really bitter pill to swallow. So to set up the conditions for us to be able to honey the pill uh, through setting up a positive state of mind through a consideration of our blessings and our opportunities. It's a very positive development of positive states of mind. I think that's one thing that Triratna is quite good at as well. The way we balance the use of the mindfulness of breathing and the development of loving kindness, you know, to set up positive states of mind and to develop mindfulness in as kind of two wings of the one word. It just seems psychologically a very healthy approach, particularly before you start working with, you know, the death impermanence. You know, particularly these times we're going through. So there are, so many people are experiencing the hammer of reality breaking in, and I think that's having to let go. I think that's what I picked up from what you were saying, Kalpana, there about, you know, you had this realization, you had to let go of some notions that you had, and it was painful just to let go and admit to your friend, yeah, I was getting the wrong end of the stick here. I was trying to sort you out, or you were trying to fix things, I think was how you put it. That can be just pain, reality biting. I think those metaphors actually do apply at times. You know, biting. It's a bitter pill sometimes. So I think they do. I think getting back to the question, the first and second reminders do merge, but I think they are distinct, and one is a preparation, a sweetening of the bitter pill of the second potentially.
Well, I'd kind of agree with what both Pradinita and Ratnadev have said, though. I think, as I was saying, when I talked about impermanence, it's not always a bitter pill. Sometimes it's actually something that helps us to get through the difficult times, knowing that they're impermanent. But they are clearly all related, and all of the four reminders are related. And actually, all of the Dharma is related. So if you go into any one bit of the Dharma, it will take you to the other bits eventually. And then it can be hard to sort of see all the separations. But yes, I think, again, there's that emphasis on, you know, well, it is a precious opportunity we've got, you know, so acknowledging that, seeing the positivity, what you're going to do with it is the first reminder, really. And the second one is just sort of having that perspective, knowing that everything's impermanent, you know, not resisting it, not denying it. And that does underlie pretty much everything else, you know, because heart of the Buddha's awakening was, you know, Pranita took us through, you know, like different watches of the night and the evening when he sat under the Bodhi tree and he had his awakening experience, had his enlightenment experience. And that during that time, one of the things he saw was conditionality of you know, things arising, passing away, and dependence on all different sorts of conditions, and how that played out in people's lives and all that kind of stuff. And that things weren't fixed, there was a flow, all that stuff. So conditionality is at the heart of Buddhist teaching, and that is all dependent in a way on impermanence. You know, if there wasn't impermanence, everything would stay the same. It's quite a, you know, it's a trope in sort of certain fantasy and science fiction, and I guess mythology. We get all these parables about, you know, what would it be like to live forever, you know, and part of us, we don't want to die, so the idea of immortality might at first seem quite attractive, but when you think about it, it would be really boring if nothing ever changed, if you never changed, and it would be just static, it'd be stagnant. And also it'd be really painful, because if you were immortal and nobody else was, then you'd lose all the people that you cared about over time. And again, if you let yourself care for people, they'd all go, and then it would be really painful. So I think there's something about transitory things that makes them more valuable to us, isn't it? We don't take them for granted if we know they're not going to be there the whole time. So I think the whole teaching about impermanence is very much encouraging us to make the most of everything and see the preciousness of this opportunity of our lives. But it's not exactly the same, but clearly very, very closely linked. So anybody else, maybe someone who hasn't shared in the bigger group or asked a question yet? Is that you, Nikki?
Yes. Thanks, Martina.
Sorry, so if Nikki goes now and whoever else wants to, you put your name in the chat and then you can go next, or otherwise you just unmute yourself and go next. Nikki?
Thank you. I just wanted to say something directly to Prayanita, which was, I was surprised when you said, Prayanita, that the quality and seed that you wanted to be planting was kindness. Because what I have to share with you and everyone is when I started my introduction to Buddhism course with Prayanita and Ratnadeva, having what I actually thought was, as we took our first baby Buddha steps, and we didn't even know there was skillfully or unskillfully, or that you could behave messily or otherwise, I actually thought that you were kindness personified. So, and how you carefully choose each word, and also what came over with your talk to me this morning was you have great clarity and great honesty, and actually sharing about being grumpy with your partner is the sort of the extremes of people not being with people, or perhaps having more time with people than they're used to. And I think that through your kindness, which you know, to me is the word that I would sum you up from that, is actually you can take on board the honesty and apply it to yourself, and then you're going to get things wrong. So for example, you know, this will make you laugh, but I was in Marks and Spencer's before Christmas, and with masks and everything else being vulnerable, and I was looking at prawns and thinking, oh, well, they're different, and I really like prawns. And then I had a Prayanita moment and thought, I don't eat them anymore. Why am I looking at prawns? Because having given up meat years ago, and so sort of even light bulb moments like that, really sort of tiny things. But to say, for me, that's how you come across, and in particular when we're taking our first Buddha steps, and so like with Bodhi leader as well, and when we're getting it all wrong, it's your kindness that shines through. Thank you.
Okay, so whoever it was who was trying to get to say something, do you want to go now?
Shamita, was it you?
Hello, it was me, but just popped it in the chat. It's just that the idea of impermanence, I was just going to follow on from what Adila was saying. And I've actually found it not a bit at all. It's actually been a really, really sweet something that has actually given me a lot of strength and a way of coping with life. Actually, just seeing things a different way is really, really, really helped me in ways that I couldn't have imagined. So I just wanted to share that, really. That was all.
Thanks, Shamita, for sharing that. And if, I'm just wondering whether you might want to stop your video.
It's true what you say about Prananita. And actually, in fact, all of the team and each and every one of you as well, because as mentioned, we are actually all Buddha-like. We just need to clear and remove the...
Thanks for me sharing that. I'm just wondering if I might want to just stop a bit. Okay, so thank you, Shamita. The internet connection wasn't great, but you did post it in the chat, and I think we could hear very much how much impermanence has been actually a source of strength and a different way, giving you a different perspective to deal with adversity and challenge. And I think it's really good to have that reminder. You know, certainly for me, that I also have experienced the positive things about that. And one of the things I think Panyanita was talking about was about like having a sense of agency. And that's only possible when things are impermanent and change can happen. You know, impermanence basically makes it possible change, makes possible choice, and makes possible that the actions that we do, whether body, speech, and mind, can lead to something new. So there is that positive side to it, even though sometimes impermanence does mean loss and it can be painful. But I suppose from a Buddhist point of view, that can also be an opportunity to awaken and for change and growth and development too. Anyway, I'm aware of the time, so I think I'm going to pass it over to Pranyanita for our meditation and mantra to close the session.
Right. So I think let's have a mantra together, and I think let's call green Tara to our mind hearts. I've got on the shrine here, it's green Tara, and we've got green Tara as, we could say, the patron of our retreat, along with Vajrasattva, and she's from the Karma family. So she's all about action, and you can see she's got that leg sort of stretched out, ready to step into action. And she's also really associated with compassion. And the whole Karma family has got that fearlessness aspect as well, overcoming fear, having courage. So we'll have a little mantra, chanting in your own time. You can bring Tara to mind, or you can just bring Tara's qualities, and that those qualities are there. The qualities of courage and compassion are there for you. By the way, if you call on Green Tara, she's set to turn up. She's one of those that will turn up, and you know, whenever you bring her to mind. So you can just see how that is. And then after we've chanted, we'll just sit for about 15 minutes, and it'll be just an opportunity to be with what is in the presence of others. So yeah, do you set yourself up for meditation, having that opportunity to arrive, maybe from looking at the screen, just having the chance of looking inward, connecting with the sensations in your body. Connecting with how you are right now, sort of feelings, emotions, any thoughts that are present. Om Tare Tu Re Swaha. 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 So that brings our afternoon session to a close. So thank you very much for coming, practicing together, sharing with each other in this space. And this evening we'll have another hour and a half together of practice, which will be led by Ratnadeva. Don't know, do you want to say anything, Ratnadeva?
Yeah, thanks, Pranyanita. I've been feeling really inspired by your leading us through an exploration of the third of the reminders, looking at karma and conditionality. And particularly this afternoon, looking at loving kindness, focusing on loving kindness, the pinnacle of Buddhist ethics. All the precepts, really, you can say, follow from the first precept of loving kindness. So, kindness is there at the pinnacle. And how do we develop loving kindness? The Buddha tells us that if we want to develop a quality, well, we need to dwell on it. I think the way he puts it is that if what you dwell on, your mind bends in that direction. So tonight we'll be dwelling on loving kindness and compassion, the pinnacle of ethical, skillful behavior, karma. And the way we're going to do that is by turning towards the archetype of compassion that we've already engaged with and invoked, which Tara, green Tara. So we'll be turning towards engaging with opening our hearts to the archetype of green Tara, the personification of the quintessence, I think is the word used, the quintessence of compassion. And we'll be doing that through visualization, through mantra chanting, through puja. As Pranyanita says, when you invoke Tara, green Tara, she turns up. So she's booked in for tonight. See you. Hope to see you at 7.
Right, and can I just say, Pasquale, who's the person who's created the retreat website and is updating it, he was having a lot of internet issues today. So yesterday he's put the recordings up for 10:30, 4 and 7. Hopefully soon the 10 o'clock will follow, and a bit later all the text, because I've got to get my act together to get all the text to him to put up. That'll go up as well. So but if you missed the session on the first reminder yesterday morning at 10:30 that Ratnadeva did and want to catch up, you can do that. Or if you missed the 7 p.m. one on the second reminder that I led on impermanence, those are up there now, so you can catch up on those. Or the afternoon's meditation question and answers, they're there now. So although it's not in its polished, finished form, it's functional, and you can catch up on some stuff now. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Oh no, not tomorrow. See you this evening.
Good night.
Thank you.
See you all later.
Thank you. See you later. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
everyone.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mind yourselves.
Bye.
See you later, Tanya. See you later, Diane. Should we stop the recording?
Oh.